Welcome to Stay Paid, or as we're calling it today, Stay Pedro.
Stay Pedro?
Stay Pedro. Dude, your costume's freaking sweet.
It's ridiculous. How are we doing today, Josh?
Welcome to our second, I just messed up Ariel on the microphone.
Yes.
We are dressed up. I can't stay in character for very
Dude,
long.
I
We
just
learned
keep
this last
looking
year.
at you.
We learned this last year.
You're
Well, this is our
prettier than my
second
llama.
annual Halloween special. Last year we were Ron Burgundy and I Love Lamp guy.
I Love Lamp, yeah. I
What was
remember
his
that.
name?
I kind of had a similar hair when I was I Love Lamp.
Yeah, you could have
right?
kept
It's
the
like
same,
matted down.
kept the same haircut.
Yeah.
Well, today on the episode,
We should do a poll on Instagram. Am I sexier with longer hair? Maddie's laughing at me again. Maddie always laughs at me. And now she's laughing more. All right, go ahead, Josh. People
you're
are like, what
listening
the
to
heck is
this-
going on?
you probably work in sales, have worked in sales, or are part of your company's sales process.
I sure hope the listeners have watched Napoleon Dynamite. Otherwise, this is going to sound like a bunch of idiots.
Now, the content team dresses up as Napoleon Dynamite and Pedro this year.
Yes.
So I've got my blonde wig, I've got my glasses, I've got my
He actually
Vote for
looks a
Pedro
lot like
shirt.
Napoleon Dynamite.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Grown up, I got the beard going.
You got the
I didn't
beard.
commit fully this year. Last year I shaved it for Ron
I forgot
Burgundy.
about that. You shaved, yeah.
But then there was the whole mustache debacle, so. Yeah.
I
decided-
forgot. I actually almost forgot the shirt this morning. Thankfully, I remember that, but I forgot
Got your
to
denim
shave.
shirt, got your bolo tie,
Got my bolo tie.
got your, what do you call that haircut? Bowl cut?
Bowl cut.
Bowl cut?
I got my bowl cut. And Maddie's like, no.
Window drapes.
It's like window drapes. You got to check out this YouTube channel, guys. You got to watch us on Stay Paid. It's extremely entertaining. And you get to see Josh's rolled up jeans.
I tried wearing socks that I thought would be appropriate for Napoleon. They would capture Napoleon's
Well, this is
spirit.
our Halloween special.
This
So
is.
we're going to talk about scary stuff today.
We're going to talk about scary sales stories. Hey, if you're in sales, like I said, you've probably encountered some scary, embarrassing, or otherwise unforgettable experiences. And on this, our second annual Halloween special, we're going to share some of those scary moments, read some submissions from our own team, and read some sales confessionals from our very own listeners and followers over at ReminderMedia and at Stay Paid Podcast on our Instagram and our social channels. So, dude, so kidding aside,
Yes.
like,
What's the
sales
scariest thing
sales
in
is kind of
sales?
scary.
It is.
Look, you're
It
dealing
is.
with the rejection.
You know this-
You're dealing with new people. You're dealing with having to try and hit numbers,
Scariest thing about sales is not closing the deal.
not closing the deal.
Not closing the sale.
Yeah.
Actually, you know, the times I am the most nervous is when
When you
I'm
have to dress up
expected-
in character.
Yeah,
for a
yeah,
podcast.
yeah, because that's truth. When I'm expected to close the deal, that's
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the scariest thing to me.
As,
about
you mean
sales.
like as a trainer, as a manager?
Well, as a
president,
manager,
out on-
trainer, president, like it's like you have obviously like the pressure everybody does to do a good presentation, everything like that. But then you have the added pressure, like you're expected to knock it out of the park. It's almost like I'm not comparing myself to Tom Brady, obviously, but I'm about to. So hang on tight. It's almost like Tom Brady
Pedro,
running the
Tom
2-minute
Brady.
warning,
Yeah.
or the 2-minute drill at the 2-minute warning. He's expected
Yeah.
to win the game at that point. Otherwise, he sucks, and he's Case Keenum from the Washington Redskins. Sorry, Case Keenum, but
That's
you just
all right.
suck, dude.
Hey, you beat my Dolphins.
That's right, the Tank Bowl.
The battle of the 3 and outs was pretty good. So being expected to close the deal.
Yeah, so basically the point I'm getting at, that is the most scary thing for me, is
Yeah.
that whenever I get, but it puts you at a heightened alert. Like I remember, it wasn't too long ago, I think we have a video clip of it, when I just got back out there on the phone, and a couple calls in, I closed the deal, and I was just like, still got
right.
it, baby.
Yeah.
I still got it. But the point being is like you have that extra added pressure.
Yeah.
And one of the things about sales, what you learn is, and I literally was just talking to one of our people in the break room about this. She's transferring over from sales to marketing services. And one of the points I'll make is that one of the things that's made ReminderMedia so great as an organization, so all my listeners out there that maybe have teams and stuff like that, is that it's all about getting the right people on the right seat of the bus.
Right.
And one of the unique things about us is if you don't make it in a department, It doesn't mean like you're not a fit for the organization. It just means that maybe you're in the wrong seat. And so this person is going over to client success, our marketing services team. So she's going to be a better coach probably than a closer. But so she wasn't closing. The minute she makes the decision to go over to client success, guess what starts happening?
She starts closing.
She starts closing.
All
she
the
has 3
pressure's
closes
off her.
today, maybe 4. I haven't checked, but she has 3 closes. And 3 closes for us is a great day for a caller. And she's immediately starting to close. And you realize, and I told her this in the break room, I said, what does it teach you about sales? And really life.
It's all mental.
And she just looks at me and smiles. And I just say, yeah, it's all mental.
Yeah.
It's all mental. And that's why it's like, for me, the scariest thing is like, when the pressure is on. I would rather not say I'm going to beat you and go beat you than be the guy that goes, I'm going to beat you, let's play basketball, or let's do this. Like, I would not challenge someone to competition. I'd rather just go into the arena and beat them. Like, that's how my mental game works.
Yeah. Well, we have some submissions from our,
Dude, this hair in my
own
eye
team
is
members.
killing me. I don't know how people with long hair survive. God bless you all out there. God bless you. Eli, one of our producers, has
Eli's
nice
got a
long
mane,
hair. Dude, he
man.
has great long hair.
That's
We got to
beautiful.
put him on camera.
So our people said the KPI chamber, which would be your key performance indicators.
What, are they making a comparison to the gas chamber? That's so terrible.
Is this something that I didn't know
So
about? down on the,
KPI
sales floor?
chamber,
You guys got
that
a chamber.
again is the mental. So KPIs are key performance indexes, basically. So it's like your metrics of how you measure yourself.
Your phone
in
time, your number of
sales.
calls,
So
your
for us,
contacts.
we measure your dials, we measure your phone time, we measure your closes, and then you have, in our lead distribution and how we give out leads, you get measured on your closing ratio. So how well you close, you get measured on your consistency of, you can close one day really good, but you might not be great over time. So we measure all these things, and based upon how you perform, guess what happens? You either get better leads or you get worse leads, and sadly, but if you miss your KPIs multiple times in a row, you go on a performance improvement plan, and if you miss it then you're out. So
Right.
KPIs are really, the KPI chamber is kind of like the
But it speaks to growing a team. I mean,
I don't even want to say it. It's like,
if we have anyone listening, like you get to the point where you don't know everybody personally, right? So like the one thing that you have to measure on are the indicators
Metrics.
that have been tracked over time.
Well, here's
that
what-
will ultimately drive success, right?
You're scared. Here's what I tell people in sales, and I tell my team this. You're scared of KPIs, and I totally understand that because it's accountability plus it's measuring you. But what great athlete does not have
Track their stats.
Yeah, does not track their stats. I mean, read Tom Brady's TB12 or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, he tracks his coffee. He tracks his water intake. He tracks his sleep. Like, I'm not doing that. Maybe I should for the employees. That would really be the KPI. How much sleep did you get today, Nick?
Right.
But meaning, like, he's tracking everything about his life, which is obviously geared towards the performance. So the point I'm trying to make is your KPIs are really what directs where you should go and where you should focus. We've done a whole podcast on this.
Yep.
Your KPIs will show you where your weakness is, will show you where you should focus. And I had a conversation with Andrew Saxa, who runs our financial services team out there in sales today. And he was talking about, he listened to I guess it was a podcast. It might have been like a presentation, but it was about how it's like a ship. Like, if a ship leaves the harbor, I was going to say the port. Is a port where a ship leaves to? Josh, sipping. You
Felt
gotta
like
make
that'd be a
that
very
really
Napoleon thing
That
to
was
do.
very Napoleon Dynamite. It's a harbor, right? Not a port, or is it a port too?
Yeah,
I don't
both. Yeah.
Yeah. When the ship leaves the harbor,
Fact check.
if the ship doesn't know where it's going, fact check that, it's a port. No.
Yeah.
But if the ship doesn't know where it's going, Andrew was saying, this guy's whole, analogy he was giving, or example he was giving is, if the ship doesn't know where it's going, one, the crew's going to be unhappy. It's never going to get there. It's going to end up beached and stranded. If a ship knows where it's going, it's going to get there 99% of the time if
Yeah.
you know where you're
Barring
going.
any unforeseen
KPIs are
icebergs.
metrics used to help you hit your target
Right.
of where you're going.
I always think about
So if
Peter
you're scared
Drucker.
of KPIs, you're thinking about it the wrong way.
It's what Peter Drucker said years ago: is if you can't measure it, you can't improve it. Right.
Yes.
So if you're
Yeah.
struggling and you're looking for, we do the same thing in marketing where we're tracking every single touch point or interaction along the way, because if you can sit there and run a campaign or send an email out and say, why didn't I get any sales, or why didn't I get any leads or interest or inquiries? But if you're going back and looking at every single KPI along the way, then you have a chance of saying, okay, well, it's on the landing page that
Right.
wasn't connecting. It was the actual email. It was the subject where it wasn't getting open, all the way back to maybe my emails aren't even getting delivered. So it's the same sort of idea. Ryan King says, not
Mr.
knowing
King.
what your next paycheck will look like, very similar to what agents experience every day.
Yeah, that is that's the terrifying thing about entrepreneurship, sales. Yeah, it's not knowing what your
Everything.
everything in life, not knowing what your next paycheck's going to look like.
Yeah.
So it's funny. It's like why you get into sales. Like you want to control your own destiny. Mm-hmm. So that's why you get into sales. It's like sales is such a mental game, like we were just talking about. But I was reading an article on Inman News, which is a great news site for real estate agents, and I guess an agent, I forget where they're. I want to say they were in Arizona, like Phoenix, Arizona, but they were talking about how you just fear. It's all mindset, is what they were saying, and you fear rejection.
Right.
And you fear this idea. It's like, and then he gave this example, and he wasn't positive on the numbers, but basically he was saying, you hear, by the time you're an adult, you hear no 250,000 times.
Really?
And you hear yes only 10,000 times.
No way.
He was saying, he goes, I'm not exactly positive that my numbers are exactly right, but he said the gap is that substantial.
That's crazy.
It's like you're conditioned.
Well,
so
yeah, as a child,
so
all
what do
you
you
hear
do
is
as
no.
a child? You condition yourself to take no as I can't get something, I can't do something, whatever it is, and you condition yes as a positive. And so what happens in sales? It is just constant no.
It also explains why you kind of
98%
almost
of the time is no.
expect to hear the no. Like if
You
we're
do.
conditioned
So there's a book
to hear
called
no more.
Embrace the No, I think
Yeah.
is what it's called.
Yep.
It's Embrace the No, which is trying to change your mindset of, it's like this paycheck comment. It's like, I agree with you, man. It's the fear of not knowing what the next paycheck is going to be. And so the flip side of that mindset is, and this is what my brother Steven, which is, if you guys haven't listened to his podcast, it's fantastic. But I remember in the early days, like 3 years ago when he was just getting into it, he goes, it's nothing like having to do something. Like that's the beautiful thing about sales is like I either eat ramen noodles or I get out there and I start making cold calls. It's like the fear of getting the no's is not worse than having to eat ramen noodles every day.
I love ramen though.
You love ramen noodles?
Yeah.
I saw a Shark Tank when I was doing my binge watching when I tore my ACL. With this guy came up with a zapper, like a way to cook ramen noodles, and it was like it was funny because you could cook them fast, but the ramen noodles also supposedly would taste better. And I was just like, how do you make ramen noodles taste
so
better?
good.
Like, I guess the way you cook them. I don't know.
Just chicken
What's your
broth.
favorite ramen noodles? The original?
Chicken.
Chicken.
Yeah.
Is that the original?
I don't know.
I had corn dogs. Corn dogs were my
Corn dogs are
thing in
freaking
college.
amazing.
You get them
Freaking
from
sweet.
Sam's Club. I don't know if everybody has Sam's Clubs across the nation, but you get like
BJ's,
a pack of
Costco,
like
it's all the same
48 or
thing.
whatever.
Yeah.
I ate a lot of corn dogs in my day.
Al Busetta, our very own Al Busetta says,
Al
I think
Busetta.
you're gonna like this one.
Okay.
Clicking the dial. Now, in our terms, we have like a dialer. So you click in our CRM.
Yeah,
to
you
dial.
click it and it dials
Same
for you.
principle though. Pick up the phone, dial the number, hit call.
Yeah.
Actually
Actually
Calling.
clicking the dial. If I had you right now call somebody.
Yeah. I see
you
immediately
be-
I start getting nervous.
Is that funny? So Grant Cardone did this at
He
the
did it at 10X,
conference.
which is
And-
amazing.
But here's what I'll tell you. It's like, I've made so many calls, but I still don't want to call somebody right now. Like, I don't, the amount of psychopaths that are out there that actually enjoy cold calling, I don't think there's very many. I think it's your why or your goal, your vision board, you're wanting the paycheck, you're wanting the car, you're wanting to build the company, whatever it is, you're wanting to, accomplish this vision, outweighs that fear. But with the click to dial, the thing that's helped me the most, and this came from my cousin Ethan, who works with us too, and he's been cold calling for years now too, is he treats it like a video game in his mind.
Yeah.
And the way he kind of treats it is he goes, oh, look, I'm probably never, if they tell me no, I'll probably never see these people again
Yep.
until the next time I call them.
Yeah.
And it's not personal, and they might think, I might be thinking about it. Basically what he says is I might dwell on it for hours where it was literally 5 seconds in their mind, they don't even remember me. So he kind of treats it as a video game. And that's the way you got to treat it. It's like my goal, like video game, like I'm going to call 50 dials every day. And then you also hear the tips of, if you're a real estate agent listening to this or a financial advisor, knock out your calls early. You have the most energy. You have the most intention, right?
You don't have to dread it for half the day.
Don't have to get it, don't have to dread it. And you're in control of your destiny. When you're making the calls, the reason why the phone is such a powerful weapon in business is because it's in your hands and it's proactive. So much of what we do in business, we're relying on the consumer. And that's difficult, man. That's freaking difficult. Where in phone calls, man, you control your own destiny. And it's just a numbers game. You play the numbers, smile and dial. Smile and dial, it's a video game. Come on, Al.
How about this one? How about this one? This was unknown, right? So this came from an unknown submission. We don't know who put this in here. But they said essentially, now they use the name. This guy's been on the podcast before, Nick Bianco. But their biggest fear is basically their sales manager.
That's great. Hashtag Nick Bianco. Did they really say? What's the biggest fear in sales, Nick Bianco?
The biggest fear in sales, Nick Bianco.
Hey, they were smart enough to put unknown or anonymous.
We know
That's
who it
pretty
is, though.
funny.
We know
That's
who it is
probably the
based
same
on
person who said KPI chambers, you know?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. The ups and then down that will happen all the time was another submission. And then starting every month at 0.
That is difficult.
You work you work so hard.
Work so hard, and then you're back to 0. What have you done for me lately? And then the sales humor is you hit your goal, and what does the company do? They just raise the goal. Now, great job. As a gift for you, we're going to raise it. It's the same thing we do at the executive level. Hit our goal. All right, it's going to be harder this year.
Here's a few funny ones from our clients. My aunt recommended her. Well, this isn't really funny. It's scary. This is terrifying. Are you ready? Are you prepared mentally?
I'm ready. I'm going to put my hair in front of my eyes.
My aunt recommended her agent to me if I need to sell my house. I've been selling real estate for 9 years.
Is that from one of our clients?
That's from one of our clients. My aunt recommended her agent to me if I need to sell my house, and I've been selling real estate for 9 years.
Oh my gosh, that is too good.
This is what so many people miss in the business, right?
Yeah, friends and family is you hear that horror story all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. And I try to give the example to people of like, let's do a challenge right now. Think of your uncle.
Yep.
Think of the job they have. A lot of times people just die out right there in the challenge. They don't even know the job their uncle has. But then it's not even about the job. It's about, hey, I feel like I have a piece of hair on my chin or something.
I feel like I've got
this. I feel like I have hair everywhere. Yeah, it's cobwebs. But anyways, they know the job their uncle has. But then here's the great question: what does your uncle need to be successful at that job?
Yeah.
And pretty much 100 people out of 100 don't know that. And because you know
meaning
your
they
uncle.
need the referral.
For real estate agents you need referrals.
Right.
Right. And that if they don't understand that's what you need, it's not that they don't want to give it to you.
Because they see you as their family. They don't think about your business, or they don't even think that like you need help in your business. If you never say it.
Dude, here's a horror story for you.
Yeah.
I've shared this with you before. My roommate in college, we sold cell phones together. We made commissions together. We competed against each other selling cell phones. A year goes by after I leave. He's still there. I buy my now wife a phone for her birthday, and I don't buy it from him. And it's like, how terrible is that? That's like this. How terrible is that?
Right.
But it was literally not, just wasn't thinking about it. Just he had not built mindshare. Shame, shame, shame. And I was a bad friend, I guess. Shame, shame.
Here's another one. At my first open house, I got attacked by the owner's pet goose.
First of all,
is that one real?
You have
Is this a real submission? This sounds like something that one of our writers made up. I don't know about that.
A pet goose.
I like this one. Somebody once asked me if I could help sell their car.
No, dude, I want to know though, do people really have pet geese?
I don't know.
I have a friend that has a pet goose too.
Fact check.
Yeah, fact check. Eli, our producer, has a friend
That has two pet geese.
Two pet geese. I heard a funny story today about pets. I'm being very tangential on today's podcast, but one of our top closers
I think that's
there,
the point of the podcast.
Yeah, one of our top closers down there, Jen Peak, told me that she bought a turtle for her daughter, I guess, one of her kids, and she didn't realize how long turtles live. She thought she was buying a turtle, and
Yeah.
turtles were kind of like, yeah, Josh, you've experienced this.
Well, I have not experienced it with my children, but I have experienced it as a child. Yes.
Dude,
Yes.
Dude, she goes, I bought this turtle thinking, oh, it's like a goldfish, or it's like a, maybe a little while.
feed it.
She goes, it's been 9 years. It's been 9 years. He's gone from a little container to a 125-pound tank.
Kidding me? Wow.
I said, Jen, that turtle might outlive you.
They
I
do,
said, you're going to have to figure out who to give it to.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Someone look up how long does a turtle live?
Oh, another great story that reminds me with the geese.
Yeah.
I sold someone who has a geese company that is a geese or goose company.
Well,
it's a company full of a gander of geese.
Yeah, it's a gander.
A
company.
gander of geese. They hire border
80
collies.
years. Turtles live for 80 years.
Freaking 80 years. But they train border collies to scare geese off of parks, reserves, and golf courses.
Yeah, we have.
I
that's what
sold that
you're saying. You
person.
sold that. I was gonna say we
Yeah.
had a.
I was so
geese
proud of myself
company.
when I sold that person. I was like,
It's like
"Dang."
goose
That
exterminators.
was like, yeah, it was awesome.
Well, I also said I think we were still talking. You were still on the goose thing, but someone once asked me if I could help sell their car. So that's a pretty good indication of your sales skills.
Yeah,
This was a
seriously.
realtor saying
That's
that someone
actually pretty
asked me
impressive.
to
You're a
turn
good
around and ask me to
salesperson
sell their
right there.
car. On my way to meet a new client, I got into a fender bender. After dealing with exchanging information, I realized the person I had hit was my new client.
Oh, that's brutal. That's brutal.
I rushed to make an appointment with a prospect thinking I had my briefcase, but it was my child's diaper bag. Every parent has been through that situation. I like this one too. I want to know what you would do with this in this situation, Luke. Pro tip, never drink a frozen cherry Slurpee before a presentation. I looked like a clown. You got the red lips, you got the red tongue. Do you call attention, if you're doing a presentation, seriously,
Yes. And my
would
tongue
you
is-
call attention to it? What would you do?
comedy is a great way to build camaraderie with people. I think I would definitely
You would own
draw
it.
attention to it.
You would own it.
I think I would 100% maybe make some vampire joke. Like I was sucking blood. I don't know. Okay. Everybody's like, dude, you are freaking crazy.
This one's probably the funniest one and most awkward. Have you ever leaned in for a hug and the other person thought you were going to kiss? Imagine that after a product presentation.
No way. Have you ever met the people that
funny.
have no concept of personal space? And if you follow Tony Robbins teaches like
Close
this idea of
talkers.
mirroring
Yeah, close.
and teaching
Yeah.
rapport and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And he talks about like when you meet these people, which they're out there, man, whew, and if they have bad breath, yeah. But the idea is you have to embrace it. Like in order to really, like make it, this is what it's like if someone's in your face, you just get right back up in theirs and that will make them feel comfortable. It will make them feel good, but whew.
So if they go in
We had
for
a guy
kiss,
in my church
just own
growing
it.
up,
Yeah.
no personal space. And there's just like, oh man, like it's weird having someone like 2 inches from your nose that's not going to kiss you and that you don't ever want to kiss you.
I've experienced that once or twice, yeah. We have one more thing to show the
Yeah.
viewing audience. I don't know if we can reach this back here,
Yeah,
but
see if you can do
you
it.
you
Turn on
have
the
to
share.
check out the YouTube channel. I know we plug it all the time, but Stay Paid Podcast. You go over to YouTube, find Reminder Media on there. We had customer service week last week, and so one of the competitions that we did was building a chair. I don't remember why. Why did we build chairs? What do you?
The monster's gonna
Oh yeah, take the monster out because I'm going to turn it on.
It was a competition between departments.
A competition to build chairs. So there was this game show themed week. Every day we had like a new game show
Yeah, the
thing. We did
theme of the
Cash
week
Cab.
was your client's perception is your reality.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Ariel's
Ariel's
the
like,
fun-
Luke has a good memory.
So one of the things was to build a chair, and our sales team actually won. So you got to go over to YouTube, check it out. It says buy or die on it. It's got a little skeleton wearing wow, this is really morbid now that I'm actually describing it.
Yeah.
I didn't realize this is an electric chair.
Yeah, you didn't realize
I
that?
didn't even realize that. It's an electric, but they hooked up a Sawzall to it. So when you turn it on, the skeleton shakes. The skeleton shakes, the Christmas lights come on.
It's pretty
freaking amazing.
awesome. It's pretty awesome.
Well, thank you so much for listening to our second annual Halloween episode. Make sure to check out this ridiculous video that we just mentioned over at staypaidpodcast.com. That's where you can also find all of the show notes to all of our episodes. And if you're interested in supporting the show, there's 2 ways that we ask you to do that. First, go on over to iTunes, rate us 5 stars, leave a comment. That really helps us get noticed on iTunes, helps us raise up the chart. And the best way to help the show is to tell a friend and share it with your friends on social media. Here's the thing.
Yes.
Napoleon Dynamite was an independent film, right?
Yes.
It debuted at Sundance Film Festival. It was shot on a budget of $400,000, and through simple word of mouth, the film went on to gross over $44 million at the box office.
Vote for Pedro.
Look, here's all we're saying. We need your mouths to help spread the word.
We need your mouth.
To help spread the word.
We do.
Let's
Yes,
gross
we do.
$44 million at the box office.
And
with
we've said this before, the
staypaidpodcast.com.
100th review, I was
Yes.
going to say the 100th 5-star review, but I will take just
Technically,
the 100th.
we didn't say this before because the
review.
podcast that we recorded that this is on is going to come out after this one.
Okay, well.
So we're going to say this again in the future.
Okay, I'm going to say this again in the future because that's creepy and it's Halloween. It goes with the theme. $100 to the 100th review.
$100.
We got to find out who you are, though, so try to give us a hint of who you are so we know how to send the money to you. But
Put it in the comment.
yeah, put it in the comment.
When you leave that 5-star review, if you see 99 up there, just write it in the comment.
People are going to be
We'll
like,
find
you're
you.
bribing people to give reviews. Heck yeah, we are.
Yes!
No.
If you'd like to get a hold of me or Luke, please email us at podcast@remindermedia.com or find us on Instagram. You can follow Luke at Luke Acree. You can follow the podcast at Stay Paid Podcast. And you can follow Reminder Media at Reminder Media. We appreciate your follow. For this episode of Stay Paid, I'm Joshua Stike.
And I'm Luke Acree, guys. And the action item for this podcast is vote for Pedro. It's not really the action item, but the action item for this podcast is, you have to overcome your fear in sales, right? That's the key. Sales is a mental game. And so my challenge to you is all of you have that fear that you just hate. Maybe it's the fear of cold calling. Maybe it's the fear of door knocking. Maybe
Fear
it
of
might be the
rejection.
fear of just getting on video
Yep.
and filming a quick video. I want you to
Oh, man,
do...
you're tying this back.
Yeah, man.
You're man.
Yeah, seriously.
That
just
was
all
good.
around.
That was
there
good.
You go. I want you to overcome your fear. I want you to take that action on. The one you just know, when I'm saying it, it popped into your mind. That's what you fear. You hate doing it. I want you to commit to doing that right after this podcast. Do that, overcome it. The only way to really overcome your fear is to just do it again and again. Remember the difference between a top producer and a mediocre producer. I'm laughing at Napoleon Dynamite here. In any industry, it's top producers take action, so take action on that today.